Hello students, let's continue our chapter 3, Movement Towards a New World. Yesterday we studied about the organs of United Nations and we saw that there are 6 organs and the activities that the organs of the United Nations do. We studied about the General Assembly and the Security Council. Today we are going to study about Economic and Social Council. Now, what is this and what is the full form? This is the full form. What is the short form for Economic and Social Council? Let's begin. This council is also called ECOSOC. The General Assembly appoints 2/3 of its retiring members for 3 years. This council tries to raise the standard of living of the nations of the world without any bias of religion, caste, region. This council and its sub-councils work all over the world. Now, students, this council, that is Economic and Social Council, it works for what? It tries to raise the standard of the living of the nations. The people, those who are poor or those who do not have even their basic needs and all, or they are not living a dignified life. So this council tries to see that their standard is raised. And then, what is that? How do they work? Without any bias of the religion, caste, region. So, they do not see that it has to be only of this religion or region or of caste. Without any caste, religion and region. What is the short form for it? ECOSOC. ECOSOC. Then, let's see about what are the other points in this. WHO. WHO, World Health Organization. These days we have been hearing a lot about WHO or WHO, the World Health Organization. What does it do? Works to improve the health of people of the world. Not only of the one country but of whole world. They try to improve the health of the people. Then comes IMF, International Monetary Fund. What is the meaning of it or what does it work for? It works to establish financial stability. Financial, something to do with money. Okay. So students, before we go to the next point, I want you to have a look at these pictures. See the symbols that they have. UNICEF, UNESCO, ILO. In the exam, you may be asked, the symbol may be given to you. You may be asked to identify what it is and write about it. Now when you have to write about it, it may be in one sentence, but identifying is also important. You cannot write ILO and you write about UNESCO, or you write about, you identify this as FAQ and you write about UNESCO, which is wrong. Okay, then the next point is FAO. Now what is that FAO? FAO is Food and Agriculture Organization. Helps to improve agriculture production, forestry and fisheries and raise the nutrition level. So students, this particular FAO, that is Food and Agriculture Organization, earlier I think I said FAQ, it is not FAQ, it is FAO, that is Food and Agriculture Organization. It works to help what? The agriculture production, forestry, also the fisheries and raise the nutrition level so that they produce good food and the people of the world get to eat nutritious food. Then comes ILO. What is that ILO? International Labour Organization. Works to improve rights and justice to laborers of the world. What does it do? It is working to improve the rights and justice of the laborers, the workers of the world. They do have their rights. If they are working for so many hours, they should be getting the deserved wages. We should not exploit them. And when they are exploited, they can have what? Where will they go? They have ILO, International Labour Organization. Then we have UNICEF. What is this UNICEF? UNICEF also you may hear often just like WHO, World Health Organization. The full form of UNICEF is United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund. United Nations International Children's Fund now. Okay, so earlier it was what? United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund. Now it is United Nations International Children's Fund. We are over here. Please learn these full forms by heart. That undertakes child welfare activities to improve the health of the children of the world by providing nutritious food and education. So students, what is the role or what is the work of the UNICEF? It tries to make sure, what activities does it take? To improve the health of the children of the world and to provide the nutritious food, nutritional food and education. Students, we know that we have learned in civics also that education for the children from 6 to 14 years of age is compulsory education made all over. Why? So that we do not deprive the children of their own rights. Over here also, UNICEF focuses that the children get the education as well as the food. The children should not go hungry. Then we have UNESCO. What is the activity? What activities does the UNESCO do? UNESCO, the full form is United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization. It works to improve the cooperation between nations by removing illiteracy. Underline the students. By removing illiteracy, then raising the standard of living of the people through education, providing justice, education, science and cultural resources. So the role of UNESCO is little wider than the other, that is of FAO or of ILO or whatever it is. Now look over here. What do they try to do? They try to see that they improve the cooperation between the nations by removing illiteracy. When there is that illiteracy, the people, when they are not educated or not, they try to educate them, try to literate them. Then raising the standard of the living of the people, that which we saw. But how? Raising the standard of the people through education. Okay? And therefore, compulsory education is now everywhere. Then, providing justice, education, science and cultural resources. So they also see that the justice has been given to the people. Besides this, there are sub-councils and regional councils which undertake various activities. So besides this, that is besides WHO, IMF, then FAO, ILO, UNICEF, UNESCO, there are also other councils, and they also, what do? They undertake various activities. Then we have the fourth one, Trusteeship Council. What is this Trusteeship Council? Let's see. There are 5 permanent member nations in this council. There are 5 permanent member nations, which we already have studied. Yesterday we saw. The representatives selected by the General Assembly are included here. It oversees matters pertaining to nations that have not acquired independence and are under some previous mandate, and nations defeated in the Second World War, as well as its social, economic, political development. So the trusteeship councils, what type of problems do they try to solve? First and foremost, it is that there are 5 permanent members, and permanent members, they are trying to solve what? They are trying to oversee the matters pertaining to the nations that have not acquired independence. Also, also the nations defeated in the Second World War, as well as its social, economic, political development. The nations which are still not developed or not developing, okay, they try to see that these nations somehow develop. They try to see that the rate of education, the rate of literacy goes higher over there. Then we have International Court of Justice. International Court of Justice. What happens here? Its headquarters is in the city of Hague, Netherlands. Now, what is this? It's the International Court of Justice. And where is the headquarters? It's in Hague, Netherlands. Yesterday also we studied something about the Hague and Netherlands. Just we saw that, which is, and the all other councils are situated in the New York. But this particular one is in Hague, Netherlands. Then there are 15 judges in it. Underline that there are 15 judges in it who are appointed for 9 years. It solves disputes between nations, gives verdict on international disputes presented before it, and gives legal advice. So students, what is the work of it? There are 15 judges who are appointed for 9 years. They try to solve the disputes between the nations. They give verdict on the international disputes when the fight arises on the international level, and they give the legal advice. Students, do not forget this particular council is situated in Hague, Netherlands, whereas all the others are in New York, America. And then the last point is secretariat. Now, what is this secretariat? Let's study about secretariat. The Office of Secretary General of the United Nations is called the Secretariat. Make a bracket. The Office of the Secretary General of the United Nations is called the Secretariat. The General Assembly appoints the Secretary General for 5 years. Underline that. Secretaries, administrators, assistants, translators and experts are also appointed to help the Secretary General. So students, underline that. Underline the words secretaries, administrators, assistants, translators and experts are also appointed to help the Secretary General. The Secretariat is situated in New York. The United Nations has constantly been making efforts to establish world peace, world unity and to achieve the dream of universal brotherhood. Students, we saw that the League of Nations was also wanting to do something like this, but failed. And now that United Nations organization which has been formed, what is that? They have been trying their best to do what? To maintain the world peace, the unity, the brotherhood. And so therefore students, we see that nations do come together many times. Why do they come together? They come together to solve the disputes. They negotiate. As much as we can avoid fighting and all, we try. Because we know once one country starts, second one will join, third one will join, and the situation will be like First and the Second World War. In order to avoid, many nations have been trying. Okay, and very especially this United Nations organization. We saw yesterday about the United Nations. We saw the organs of the United Nations organization. We saw in that General Assembly, Security Council, Economic and Social Council. We saw about the Trusteeship Council, International Court of Justice, which is in Hague, Netherlands. And then the last point which we studied is about the Secretariat. Students, we finished the chapter over here. I am not sending you the board work, but I want you to complete. Now I am giving you 2 to 3 days to complete these exercises which are on page 22. You have to complete these exercises. Soon you are going to begin your school. Therefore complete your books. You have internal marks. Have a good day.